Gentlemen, welcome to a Connoisseur'S conversation. Today, we're going to dive into a fragrance, a very luxurious fragrance, very classic in French perfumery. This is a fragrance that goes by the name of Musc Ravageur, and it is by the house Frederic Malle. Like I stated, classic French perfumery, a fragrance that is very, very powerful and sophisticated, yet sensual and alluring at the same time. One that is actually so polarizing that some people have categorized this as the worst fragrance they've ever smelled, and some have dedicated this to their holy grail of fragrances. So if you're interested in this type of content and this fragrance, and hear what my take on it is, have a seat, pour a glass, and of course, let's enhance. Ladies, gentlemen, welcome to the Dry Down, the lifestyle channel where we as enthusiasts aspire to enhance and elevate our olfactive sensory experiences through the understanding of the different aromas, facets, and nuance of scent, cigars, and wines. I'm your host, Chris. Welcome to today's experience. We're going to dive into a Connoisseur'S conversation and just talk a little bit about one of the most iconic fragrances in the game today. This is one that harkens back to one of my first pickups in the niche perfumery. This is one that I would categorize, if I was going to put it in the list, as one of those fragrances of digging in the crates. This is one that's been in my collection for quite some time, and it's one that I want to show my appreciation for what it's done for me in my wearing experiences. So Musc Ravageur, let's get right into it. This is the actual bottle presentation, 50 ml bottle. This is one of the older batches that was not reformulated when transferred over to Estee Lauder. So mine, as it comes to me and my knowledge of the fragrance, it has been reformulated and takes away some of the natural essences of what my bottle actually does. But I will say this, I have smelled the fragrance and it is just a little bit softer in its presentation, but it is still the same scent in its intent. And so talking to you about Musc Ravageur, the iconic fragrance that has the polarizing effect of being one of the scents that come off too animalic, too urinal, all the way to being the fragrance that smells to some like a lustful Cinnabon fragrance. The way this fragrance opens up for me is what people get. This is one of the original batches, so what people get is what I do understand to be the animalic take on it. But it's not animalic in the way that you will seem off-putting, or it's not a rarity in fragrances today, I might say as well. The way it opens to me is more camphoric than animalic. It comes off camphoric and a bit high level of aromatic from clove and a beautiful lavender accord. And that mixture of aromatics, thick, sweet aromatics, along with the camphoric feel of both of those two aromatic compounds, to me comes off as the animalic take on it. And to me, when I got this fragrance in at first, it was one of those things that I was backtracking back, like how can people smell this in this particular scent? But in this journey that I've been on with these particular perfumes, understanding what they do for you, the scent profile that affects different people, and the way it affected me over time has been a joy to wear this particular scent. For me, Musc Ravageur is one of the sexiest fragrances in my collection. It is a fall and winter beast. It has the great performance that you expect from Frederic Malle and his perfume styles. Also giving credit to Maurice Roussel in this particular scent. He built this to be something that he would wear as a robe. He comes off as a, what you would call a mountain man. And to me, that is what this particular scent smells of. This is a sophisticated, lustful fragrance that has a lot of debonair qualities about it. But at the end of the day, it's more of a, what's the guy's name that runs the Yellowstone Ranch? It's more of his style of fragrance than it would be of a James Bond fragrance, where you have a sophistication about yourself, but you're still earth, down to earth, bound to the earth, just want to smell sexy as hell for your lady and just for the general public around you. So that's the type of mentality that this fragrance calls to, the personality that this fragrance calls to. To me, Musc Ravageur is a sexy fragrance. And I'll tell you about some of the evolution on this particular scent. To me, you do get everything that they state about this. The opening is a beautiful fragrance that opens with that lavender and bergamot. And they're all high quality oils, and that's one thing about this particular scent. It's not as good up close like this as it is on skin and in the air. The magic of this particular scent happens in the air at about 3 feet, and that's when all of the aroma chemicals that come off of this one, the molecules that come off of this one, really bloom in the air around you and make you much more alluring, seductive, attractive. To me, the opening, this is a classical ambery fragrance. You get the bergamot up top. You get a little bit of the mandarin that they place in this. A lot of Ceylon cinnamon is inside this particular scent. Very expensive Ceylon cinnamon is in this one. It's always carried through, veiled by that opening of clove and lavender. That's one. It's a very particular chord structure that comes from the top to the base and never leaves. It really stays true to that particular clove and lavender aromatic feel. The woody tones of this one, very much so sexy as hell. Ambery base, it feels as though there is a little bit of leather in this one that they don't state. It smells a little bit of leathery labdanum. Very vanillic in its sweet profile. Then once you get, which is the protagonist to this one, is the cinnamon vanilla accords, along with that very sweet warming coumarin or tonka bean. In this fragrance, the polarizing parts about it is what you get. You get the opening, which people cannot stand, the uranyl animalic part. To me, it's more aromatic and clove, and that clove is more camphoric, which brings about something that can be a reminiscent feel of animalic touches. That calms down to a more comforting aromatic. It's not something that sticks with the fragrance. So if you're a person that only gets to a fragrance for the opening and then calls it quits, you're not going to like this particular scent. You give this fragrance 15 minutes on your skin, you're going to love the particular scent, because the way it comes off in its ambery tonality, the way it comes off in its vanillic tonality, is very, very sensual and sexy. Lots and lots of sandalwood, lots and lots of tangerine in that opening. Like I said, the tangerine is one that's it's not so much a citrus carrying note as much as it is a backbone note to complement the aromatic touches of clove and lavender. This is a scent, to me, classic French perfumery. This is a scent that comes off from, I would say, houses like Guerlain, houses like Serge Lutens. This is something that you would think in classical essence of French perfumery, very, very robust, very powerful, yet sophisticated and sensual. The way it comes off is just fantastic. This is a fragrance also, when you do get into the scent profile, the evolution of this one is one that's not ever going to get stale for you, because of that opening, which is challenging, and then the actual dry down, which becomes sexy, alluring, and sophisticated, like I keep reiterating. And the reason I keep reiterating that, because most times when we describe certain fragrances, we want to make a point about what it is that we feel about the sensual scent and sexual scents. Now for me, this is not as much of a gravitas sexual scent as much as it is once you've already gotten into the mood and gotten into the situation that you're going to be in, and the scent comes off you once you take your clothes off. It becomes much more carnal in its nature versus one of those club fragrances that's sweet and sexy, because it's not that. It's one that's very carnal, very sensual. And so once someone gets close to you in your bubble, they smell it on your skin. It's one of those things that they just lay their head on your chest and just become mesmerized by the scent profile coming off your body. It feels as though it's a radiating sensual scent off your body. And that makes this, again, one of the most iconic fragrances of the game. That's why this thing has been popping up for the last 15, 20 years on people's radars, purchasing it, talking about it. Many people have seen this as one of the top 10, or even, I'd say top 5 fragrances that have been talked about over the last 15 years. Slight boozy accord is in this one as well. I think that's a concoction of the ambery touch along with that tonka bean. It comes off slightly boozy, almost like you will get the boozy effect of scents like Fève Délicieuse with that tonka bean accord inside of it. You get all these sexy accords that very, very much so are phenomenally mixed, very well balanced, powerful and robust, and makes you one of the sexiest people in the room when you wear this particular scent. Very, very well done scent. Ladies and gentlemen, today I talked to you guys and gave you some impressions of my thoughts on Musc Ravageur by the House of Frederic Malle. This is, to me, one of the better styled, slightly leaning gourmand fragrances that straddles the line just perfectly inside of its animalic touches and spicy accords. It's an excellent fragrance that has some excellent done perfumery. It's very well balanced. It's very well done. It takes all of the accords and use them to their best. It has the tobacco hay-like effect of the coumarin tonka bean. It has the sensual effects of vanilla. It has the sexy opening and aromatic touches that lead to a gentleman affair of the clove and lavender, and then it sells to that animalic slash spicy nuance of what cinnamon and amber can do for you as a fragrance. It's a very decadent fragrance, one that comes off so well, and I think that many of you guys should get your nose on this particular scent to get a reference for what a cinnamon animalic can smell like, because this is a reference fragrance for that particular accord structure. This is great for my scent personality, so if you're one who jives and actually has a similar way you wear your fragrances as me, I think you'll enjoy this for what it does in its evolution on your skin. The way it comes off is upscale, slightly boozy, slightly sweet, but more animalic and robust in its spicy tonality, and very sensual. So once again, this is Musc Ravageur by the house of Frederic Malle. Great French perfumery. As always, if you guys enjoy this particular content, all that I ever ask that you do, hit the like button, subscribe, and if you found something entertaining and educational, drop a comment below as well. Let me know what you think about the actual fragrance, Frederic Malle's Musc Ravageur. I think that sometimes Maurice Roussel is a misunderstood, or I would say someone hidden in the shadows when we talk about great perfumery. He has a great lineup. I have one I'm coming up next with called Tuxedo that's a very well done, off the beaten path tobacco fragrance that I think many of you will be impressed with. I think it's the house out of Sweden called Wear Me. You guys are going to hear about that one coming up in one of my next lists about tobacco this particular fall. But all in all, today was about Musc Ravageur, the icon, the beautiful polarizing icon that is a cinnamon and coumarin and clove bomb. So until next time, until next video, you guys have a blessed day. Peace.